Jack vs Hanayama is now 100% over. Baki Rahen chapter 51 is here and revealed that the biting cyborg is pretty much the winner of this fight. Today I'll be breaking down everything, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. So as we know, the previous chapter featured the police stepping in after Hanayama landed that insane combo on Jack, leading many people to think that the fight was over and the Yakuza had claimed the victory. But that is not exactly what happened. The real result is something I discussed in about 3 videos over the last 2 weeks. I was pretty much right. The police notice that Hanayama has indeed lost an insane amount of blood, something that is still occurring, saying call an ambulance, he has passed out, he's lost too much blood, but noting the mad lad is still standing, so go to stuff. On the other hand, Jack is laying on his back, and upon the police talking to him, he flips up back on his feet, highlighting that he's pretty much fine when it comes to damage, and explains the situation, that we had a fight to see who was stronger, we settled it, that's all, I got knocked down and he bled out. So pretty much the exact same situation as the Sukune one. Something I was pretty much calling, and I had a lot of you guys in the comments saying no, that wouldn't happen again. Hanayama is too durable, all of his endurance feats, which is something to consider. However, once again, people looking down on Jack's biting martial art Gao Dao. A common trend throughout the Baki universe and for all the readers, Jack right now is still, I would say, top 3 currently in the verse. I will not be changing my tier list. Jack still remains in his current position, but Hanayama, I would say, has demonstrated enough to firmly be above Pickle at the current minute. I doubt Jack and Hanayama are going to have a rematch in the underground or anything like that, or Hanayama is going to have a fight against another character anytime soon, but his performance throughout this clash was insane, and much respect to him, but based on the conclusion, I will be giving Jack the victory and claim bro is indeed stronger, as he could have technically continued going while Hanayama, as we know, was unconscious now. And we even have Jack say, take care of Hanayama please, to the police, which is absolutely wild. But their conversation, their discussion is over, and the holy war that Baki originally brought up about this matchup shall be continuing. So as a whole, a wild fight. A controversial one to many people, but as always when it comes to Baki, I highly recommend reading the entire fight from the beginning in one single binge read. That is by far the best way to experience the Baki manga. It's not written in a way where each chapter is as great as the previous, or every single chapter is a banger. It's meant to be read when it comes to entire volume releases. It's always been like that. That's why Baki on a release by release schedule can be lackluster to many people, but it's always been like this. And I will be doing a full breakdown of the entire fight, so stay tuned for that. But when it comes to Jack's next opponent, I've always predicted it could be the likes of Gaia and Doppo out of the main characters he's officially called out. But there is one fighter who's very notorious when it comes to the main Baki fighters, who Jack hasn't called out similar to Kosho and Hanayama, and that is Mr. Unchained Biscuit Oliver. But when it comes to Baki Rahen chapter 51, we get no hints about Jack's next opponent. However, we do get some very interesting stuff about the next possible fight in Baki, and that's between Baki himself and potentially Kosho, another legendary rematch potentially. So this is editing Weeb from the future. I just realized after I completed this entire video that it isn't Kosho fighting Baki here or about to pull up. It's actually Kaito, one of the students of Doppo, Orochi and Katsumi from early Baki, who hasn't really done much in quite a long time. So this next segment about me talking about the Kosho and Jack fight, how he's already been destroyed, just take all that as not the case. This is Kaito, a different character, but low-key they look very similar in the current days. I was like tripping balls. Sorry about that. This is Kaito, and pretty much the same thing applies bro is going to get absolutely destroyed, but it is pretty interesting to consider for Baki. This is because we see Kosho and Hanada talking to one another, and this time the discussion is about Baki Hanma, mentioning stuff about his Hanma blood, how strong he is, how he's the son of the strongest creature alive, the one who actually beat Yujiro, and Kosho saying, "I'm gonna try him." Time to relax, buddy. Bro got absolutely destroyed by Jack, and now he believes he can handle Baki Hanma, which 100% of people are going to disagree with. Kosho is going to get pretty much a one shot similar to Sukune, but the reason they're doing this could be in fact to set up the Baki and Jack rematch, something that was the first fight pretty much Jack set up after defeating Sukune. One we've got official art from Itagaki about already, and if Baki is going to have some fights throughout Rahen as well before the Jack rematch, it's going to be setting up both of them for an insane fight before Jack gets the chance to face, of course, the ogre Yujiro Hanma. So we see Kosho in the street about to pull up on Baki with Hanada still being a random goon. I thought bro was done in the story since his weird mysterious return, but he's back, still yapping and still probably fodder, but as we know he was the one to drop hanayama at the start of the Baki Rahen manga, so low-key goated in that regard. But Baki's portrayal of strength compared to Kosho here is definitely levels upon levels higher, so if he tries jumping Baki in the street, he's probably going to get destroyed, and this very well may highlight that Jack still needs to improve a little bit more before being any match for current Baki, a fellow strongest creature alive. As a reminder, all of Jack's current fights, including the recent one against Hanayama, is pretty much his training arc, a means for him to get stronger, develop his Gaodao even more, and be ready for the true top tiers, which are Baki and Yujiro. But exciting stuff. Jack winning is going to be exciting for many people. I know there's a large amount of people across the community who hate Jack's current fighting style, but if you haven't accepted it at this point, I don't know what you've been doing. I guess losing your mind over the last 4 years of Baki, which has been focusing on this. It's a common trend. Stop looking down on his martial art. Jack is goated. Hanayama goated as well. I will be making my breakdown video between a Hanayama and Pickle fight, so stay tuned for that. But I will be declaring Jack as the winner based on the outcome of this fight, that being the conclusion. The performance as a whole throughout definitely goes to Hanayama, who dominated for the most part. However, Jack's Gaodao bites need to be recognized as still one of the most lethal set of abilities in all of Baki, and that will without a doubt remain true in every future fight. Unfortunately, we are once again going on a break. The next chapter for Baki Rahen, that being chapter 52, is meant to release around the 25th of September, so the bi-weekly release schedule is staying true, which honestly I don't mind so long it stays consistent and we don't get any delays. But I'm excited to see what happens between Kosho and Baki and where Jack goes from after this fight, particularly with certain things he's learned from clashing with Hanayama, one of the strongest characters in the entire Baki verse. But if you haven't already, make sure to check out these videos on the upcoming Baki Dao anime and all this other Baki greatness. Subscribe for more, and that's it guys, peace.